So as you guys have known for many decades, the Cleveland Browns have had trouble finding their quarterback of, well, their franchise. And obviously it's shown through this picture right here with all the list of names of quarterbacks. And it was even shown even more during the NFL draft because they became the first team in NFL history to select 2 quarterbacks within 50 picks of each other. What that means, Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. However, today I'm going to put a bunch of different Pro Bowl quarterbacks on the Cleveland Browns to see if they could lead the franchise. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. Okay, so ironically, quarterback number 1 is Baker Mayfield. So I put him back on the team that drafted him. He led them to 5-12. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Let's see how did Baker do with his old team. Okay, so Baker would have 2,871 yards with 22 touchdowns to 18 interceptions. So he didn't really have that good of a season. I mean, he almost had as much interceptions as touchdowns, but I guess Baker coming back, maybe Cleveland was the problem. Just don't let OBJ's dad hear that. Okay, so the next quarterback we have is Justin Herbert, who would lead the Browns to a 9-8 record, a winning record. However, they would miss the playoffs as the number 10 seed. So he got them to a winning record, but they just couldn't get into the playoff. But let's see how did Herbert do with the Browns. Okay, so Herbert would have 3,067 yards with 21 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. So a really better year than Baker Mayfield had. Obviously less touchdowns but less interceptions, but more yards. So I guess we'll take that. However, still didn't make the playoffs. I mean, they got more wins. They had a winning record, but yeah, let's see if the next quarterback can get them into the playoffs. Okay, so the next quarterback we have is Jared Goff, who would lead the Browns to a 7-10 record, obviously missing the playoffs as they would finish as the 11th seed. So only 1 seed less than last year, but if they went 9-8 this year, they would have made the playoffs. But either way, let's go check how did Goff do. And a little thing is look at who made the playoffs. Baker Mayfield led the Bucs to the playoffs, whatever, but let's see how did Goff do. Okay, so Jared Goff would have 3,223 passing yards, 21 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. So he would have statistically a better season than Herbert because he had the same amount of touchdowns and interceptions. However, he just had more yards. But either way, so far Justin Herbert has been our best quarterback, while Goff has been in the middle, and Baker Mayfield has been our worst. And yeah, let's see if our other quarterbacks can do better than any of these 3, because so far we still haven't made the playoffs, and this video is going to be like 5 minutes long. Also, if you guys do like these type of videos, hit the like button, subscribe, road to 2,000 subs. And as always, comment down below what other teams I should do. And yeah, let's see if our other quarterbacks can do better. Okay, so the next quarterback we have is Joe Burrow, who would lead the Browns to a 13-4 record, getting them into the playoffs as the number 2 seed. So I guess him switching to the other team in Ohio really worked out for some reason, as whoever led the Bengals led them to 4-13. But let's see how did Burrow do with his division rival, even though they're not really rival. Okay, so Joe Burrow would have 3,700 yards, 24 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. So nothing really mind-boggling considering they went 13-4. I don't know how really they went 13-4, but because they didn't even have an 1,000-yard receiver, maybe because Myles Garrett had 14 sacks. But I don't know how they went 13-4. Hopefully we get a deep playoff run, because we haven't had even a playoff run this entire video. But let's see, how did Burrow lead them to beat the Steelers in the first round? 13-4, they got to, right? They do. They'll blow them out 31-7, as Burrow would have 262 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. So he would have actually a pretty good game. But now they have the first big test against the Chiefs. Can Burrow beat the Chiefs again? He's only beat them once. Can he beat them again? Yes, he can. He'll beat them in overtime, I'm gonna guess 37-31. And it wasn't overtime, actually went to like a sudden death overtime. But Burrow would have 292 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. So Burrow's playing out of his mind right now, I guess, as they're gonna go against the 15-2 Buffalo Bills for a trip to the Super Bowl. And let's just see, can Joe Burrow lead the Browns to the Super Bowl? He will not. They'll lose in the AFC Championship game. They'll lose 20-17 overtime. So Burrow would have I can't talk. Burrow would have 227 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks. However, that wasn't good enough to lead them to overtime win against the Bills. But hey, considering all things, I didn't think the Browns were even gonna make it this close. I don't know how they made it to the AFC Championship game, but I guess Burrow is the thing they need. Well, let's see if our other QBs can lead them to these heights, or if Burrow is our champion, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so our next quarterback is Josh Allen, who would lead the Browns to an 11-6 record, getting them into the playoffs as a number 5 seed. Let's see how did Allen do with the Browns. Okay, so Allen would have 3,555 passing yards, 30 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. So statistically, this is actually the best quarterback season anyone has had. He had the most yards, the most touchdowns, and the least picks, I think. I think Burrow might have had less, but either way, Allen's the first quarterback to get to 30 touchdowns. Surprisingly, I thought Burrow, considering they went 13-4 with it, but yeah, either way, let's see. Does Josh Allen have a playoff run in him like Joe Burrow did a season ago? And they do not, as they lose to the Texans, giving Allen his first ever wild card loss. They lose 31-20. Josh Allen would have 204 yards, but would put up goose eggs for touchdowns and interceptions. So he just played decent, I guess. Gets them into the playoffs with no playoff run. So far, the best QBs we've had is Joe Burrow leading them to the championship, Josh Allen leading them to the playoffs, and Justin Herbert getting them to 9-8. However, he missed the playoffs. So those are our 3 best. Let's see if our last 2 quarterbacks knew better than any of them. Okay, so our next quarterback is Patrick Mahomes, who would lead the Browns to an 8-9 record, obviously missing the playoffs. Damn. That's kind of crazy. Let's see. Maybe Mahomes got hurt. Who knows? Okay, so Mahomes would have 3,779 passing yards, 28 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. So he actually, not by far, but he had the most passing yards of anyone. However, he did have a lot of picks, so I can kind of see why they went 8-9. Damn, so I'm surprised that they didn't even make the playoffs with Mahomes. They just kind of missed it by a game, but either way, we have one last quarterback to see if he can save them, or is Joe Burrow the Browns' savior? And I should have put Shador Sanders and Dylan Gabriel, but that's for another video. So let's go to our 7th and final quarterback of the video. Okay, so our last quarterback of the video is Lamar Jackson, who would lead the Browns to an 11-6 record, getting them back into the playoffs. Let's see how did Lamar do with the Browns. Okay, so Lamar would have 3,543 passing yards, 37 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. So by far the most touchdowns any quarterback has had this video. And yeah, I mean, he had probably between him and Allen were the best statistical seasons. I think I'll give it to Lamar because he had 1 less pick but 7 more touchdowns. So either way, can Lamar lead them to a deep playoff run, or will Joe Burrow be the best quarterback from this video? And let's see right here as he will beat the Colts 24-13. Okay, so Lamar would only have 156 passing yards, but he would have 2 touchdowns, no picks. What about rushing? 29 rush yards. That's alright. But now we're gonna have a big test against the Chiefs. Joe Burrow beat the Chiefs. Wait, there's one new injury. Okay, now he finds. I'll say it better not be Lamar. But Burrow beat the Chiefs. Can Lamar beat the Chiefs finally? Let's see. And he cannot. They'll get blown out 35-14, where Lamar would have only 161 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 picks. So he did not have a good playoff performance. However, he would be our 2nd farthest quarterback this video. So could any of these quarterbacks save the Browns? I mean, some of them did. Our top 3 was Joe Burrow leading them to the conference championship round, Josh Allen, or not Allen anymore, Lamar leading them to the divisional, and Allen leading them to the wild card. We only made the playoffs in 3 out of the 7 years. And yeah, I think the Browns need a lot more than a quarterback, and who knows what's in store for real life. But anyways, if you guys do enjoy these videos, hit the like button, subscribe, comment down below what other teams I should do. And as always, I don't know how to end these things, but